I was so
Born
ready
ready.
with that yellow card button.
I
So
know
ready.
you were fast like a lightning bolt.
I'm
You know,
prepared.
we've got play today. It's serious. We're gonna get this. This is serious. We're gonna have so much play today.
Eric Poses, the creator of Loaded Questions, is here, and he's going to ask us some pandemic-themed loaded questions. And by us, I mean all of us, which includes the Lego Serious Play women that we've brought on, Jill Callinan and Michelle Broadbent, to train people using Legos. Like, they can train you to do anything, and they incorporate Legos. So it's super fun. They even sent us Legos.
I want to fly a Lego plane. That's what I want.
So this whole show is going to be fun from like beginning to end.
Do you think that there's I mean, we could probably even post some of the loaded questions to the gang out in the crowd, right? I mean, I think that's
sure. Oh yeah.
Backpack show. Serious play. We're gonna do serious play. I cannot wait.
I am so excited about this because I've never been to a meeting that couldn't have been improved with some Legos. But
I wonder, by the way, so they're certified Lego play people.
Morning,
hey, coach. There are, they're certified, which I think is already an amazing, fascinating thing. But I wonder if they beat it out of you that we're not supposed to say Legos. We're supposed to say Lego, like, moose and moose.
Everyone I get it. I mean, I'm an attorney, so I get the whole like protecting your trademark thing, but come on.
Who doesn't say Legos?
John says, let's get serious. And I don't think Legos plural is the problem. The problem, I think, is when you go buy something that's not Legos and you call it Legos. That's what they're trying to avoid. So they don't want you to be like, just buy some other plastic block and then call it Legos. That's a no-no.
And there used to be more of those kind of fakers out there. I think they finally beat them down.
I know. But this is a thing. So if you're wondering what Lego Serious Play is, that's actually a program Lego has where they certify coaches. So we'll get to talk all about that. But first, let's get everyone and do some loaded questions. What do you think?
All right. That's how we're going to do it. That's how we're going to do it. You push the buttons. I'm not touching a button.
Ready. So you're not allowed to push any buttons.
Eric Poses, founder of Loaded Questions and several other things. How the heck are you?
Awkward family photos, mini games. The newest one, Happy Endings.
Yeah, when you said you had the game Awkward Family Photos, I thought, you're not the founder of Awkward Family Photos. That's what's his name. But you came in and made the game. That's what happens.
Mike Bender and Doug Chernak are the founders of awkwardfamilyphotos.com, and I'm lucky enough to make all their games.
That's fun. By the way, founders is such a funny term when you think of pages like Awkward Family Photos, but it's I still subscribe to it. I still love looking at. It's an endless bit of joy for me.
I laugh once a day looking at those pics. So
I'm with you.
Yeah. So about 5 years ago, Eric had sent me a big stack of games from his company, and we played them nonstop for months and months because my kids were littler at the time. Now they're old enough for loaded questions and even awkward family photos. I feel like your little kids could do it, but their answers are interesting. So it's gotten a lot more fun as the kids have gotten to be like adolescent, and we can like PG-13 our humor. So, but we love it. It's so much fun.
So we kind of tossed out the rules a little bit on the way we're doing this today.
Yeah, there's not going to be anybody who wins.
The game design part of what Eric's doing is like pushed down to the table right now. But listen, do you want to go through what the rules normally are? Because you did such a great job of succinctly explaining it, and then we can get some questions into our faces.
So if you haven't played Loaded Questions before, the way you are supposed to play it, Eric, how are you supposed to play it? As the game's creator, you're the best source of information.
All right. Well, there's 5 different versions of the game for all ages. And the way the game works is one player reads out an open-ended question. So it could be something like, if you were a member of any TV sitcom family, what would you choose? Everyone else, all the other players, will write down their personal answer to the question on their answer sheets, which are then collected by another player who reads them out loud. And player 1 has to match which player wrote which answer. Now, today, I think we'll just be asking some pandemic-themed loaded questions I've come up with in the past 6 months and have fun answering them.
And Jill and Michelle are right out here to play with us. We've got everybody ready to go. And so
you can pick your favorite, Eric. I mean, it's not like I'm competitive or anything.
And I'm going to pick my favorite for sure.
Let's do it.
You ready for question 1?
Question 1.
All right. This is an easy one. If you could rename the coronavirus, what would you call it?
So what do you want to start with Michelle and go like
Let's do it.
Michelle, Jill, me,
and then everybody in the crowd
Yes.
also type your answers.
So if you could rename the coronavirus.
The first thing that came into my head was mask hell.
Oh wow.
Hell. I like mask hell. Jill, what you got?
Natural selection.
Oh, nice. Carrie?
Worst babysitter ever. First thing came into my head.
I went with the obvious one. I went with IQ test. So that's not unlike natural selection, I guess.
We're all bad people.
And then 0 people in the audience wanted to play along. Nobody in the audience wanted to rename the coronavirus.
Well,
I guess
Jill's going to get my vote here, the Darwinian answer. And the first thing I thought of when I wrote this question was there was a movie, Johnny Dangerously, that I loved growing up, and they would use the term "fargen asshole."
You fargen asshole.
That's so good.
Asshole.
John Harrison
Bastaches.
says pre-apocalypse.
Apocalypse, yeah.
And Andre says the new normal flu.
Wow. I like it.
From LinkedIn. You get really good answers from LinkedIn.
You do. It's more thoughtful because they wear nicer clothes. All right. Question number 2 from Eric Poses.
Let's do it.
So early on, I'm sure you remember the run on toilet paper. So it inspired this loaded question. Whose face do you wish was on all the toilet paper being used?
Oh, man.
This is dangerous, but yeah.
Michelle? Not Michelle's face. I mean, Michelle, answer.
Oh, that's really hard. I have to pick somebody's face. It just seems so mean.
It might be mean or it might be the best thing ever.
Or creative. I'm going creative on mine.
I don't know. I guess I'm gonna be really mean and just a face that I can't stand seeing lately on TV. It's Nancy Pelosi.
And her dumb haircut.
Exactly, and those nails. Yeah.
Oh dear.
What do you got, Jill?
Carol says Trump. And she also says, good morning. Good morning. I would like Trump on my toilet paper.
Oh, Fuzzy is over on Twitter this morning.
Discretion is the better part of valor, cautions Coach Woodard. Can't argue. And Fazia says, good morning. Hi, Fazia. Okay. Whose face do you wish was on all the toilet paper being used, Jill?
I'm just going to creative spin on this one for a little bit. And I'm going to say that I want multiple faces. And I would like to have all of my girlfriend's ex-husbands.
Oh, that's nice. The sentimental choice.
Yeah.
like
John
it.
Harrison is a generic masked face. Fazia Burke's switching up her social networks. So we're playing loaded questions. If you're just joining us on the Backpack Show and you have no idea what's going on, Eric Poses up here as the creator of Loaded Questions. And he's asking us some pandemic-themed loaded questions, us and our other guests, Jill and Michelle, who are Lego serious play trainers. So whose face do you wish was on all the toilet paper being used? I would have to make it really stupid. So I'd probably just like Kathy Griffin, because I feel like she would expect to be there. Like, where's her career gone? It's like,
Interesting.
it's insulting, but I feel like she'd be okay with it somehow.
So I went with Henry Cavill, and the reason is there's a few things. So I'm totally very attracted to Henry Cavill, so I think that would help me break it. But remember, when he did Justice League, he had that stupid mustache for Mission Impossible, and they had to like CGI it out for all of those special scenes. It cost Justice League like $8 million for Henry Cavill to keep a mustache on his stupid face.
Wasn't that the stupidest thing?
So that's why I would make my toilet paper Henry Cavill, because I could get creative.
Carol loves the ex-husband collage toilet paper. Nancy Ramsey says Boris Johnstone. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong.
Well, no, because it's Johnson, but she's, it's like a Fred Flintstone kind of name.
Oh, and Carol's super offended that you want to put Henry Cavill on toilet paper.
That's why I went creative.
Like I said, it could be a real insult or it could be like the best thing ever. So maybe you interpret it differently.
Could be a tribute.
When playing the game, when you get an answer like Henry Cavill, that's my favorite because it's so unexpected. No one would think that he generates that much, dislike that you'd want his face smeared.
I just want to put him in a mask.
Thank you for painting such a vivid picture for us, Eric.
He's going to be Sherlock Holmes. I could try to do a little bowler.
So
the
playing
hand gesture
loaded
sells
questions
us, you know.
with the game's creator, and he likes your answer, Chris. I feel like that's gamed.
I'll take it. We have one more question. We have time for another, right?
Yeah, of course we do. We have time for a couple more. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm loving this.
All right.
And if you have an answer, just put it in the comments. If our community watching wants to answer these loaded questions with us, we are happy to share your answers. PG-13, but like, you know.
Well, not on my behalf.
At the start of the pandemic, I'm sure you guys and all your viewers thought that they would master the guitar and a new language and be great at tennis and every other thing out there, this laundry list of things. And that inspired this loaded question. What is one thing you will be better at when the coronavirus is over?
There's one thing you'll be better at when the coronavirus is over. All right, Michelle.
And it's not what I hoped that I'd be better at. It's one thing that after this ends, what I'd be better at. I guess having more patience.
That I know. I can't relate to that. I was trying. I was like, could I have more? No. John Harrison says organizing my bookshelves. I just took a poll on this, actually. Some people organize their bookshelf by color, and I'm like, you're psychotic. And my friend was like, that's not true. I think it's perfectly reasonable. And so everybody else was like, no, by topic, like obviously. Zoom meetings. Andre says he's better at Zoom meetings. I'm better at keeping that look on your face you have to keep during a meeting, that like cautiously optimistic look, because you don't know what's coming, but you have to look like you might be happy about it. I've gotten very good at that. Hi, Michael. Leslie says alcohol tolerance.
Yes.
Carol says learning TikTok dances, which I feel like you were pretty good at before. Binge watching Netflix. I am a master at that. I didn't need the pandemic for that. Buying non-branded products. It's such a good one.
Good one.
Okay. Jill, what is one thing you'll be better at when the coronavirus is over?
I would have to go with binge watching Netflix, and specifically like the Tiger King and Vikings and a couple of other my shows. I'll become the master of these long epic seasons.
Probably like filling up my whole office chair, because my butt has been spreading since March. I'm not going to the gym, so by the time this is over, like my chair will be from corner to corner full.
Mm-hmm.
I have my answer is kind of being like the worst pandemic chef in the world, like mixing the worst possible mixes of things. Like you start saying things like, well, how bad could it be? And then you put two things together because you just can't get out to the grocery store one more time in your spacesuit.
And it's bad. That's
my answer.
So what's the worst thing that you put together? I'm sorry, Eric, I have to know. Like, what's the grossest combination? Like pizza sandwich with Spam in between, or like?
I mean, that's what people need to know, right? Like a pizza sandwich is a delicious thing. You have 2 slices of pizza left over from the night before. You put some stuff in the middle. You can, onions go in that probably, because, by the way, if you throw a little onions and garlic into anything, it feels like you made an attempt at something. And also cheese. Cheese is the biggest liar. You're like, yeah, I put cheese on it. I made it. Like,
No, it's a thing that I made.
That's right.
Okay. All right, Eric, your verdict.
Well, I do like cheese as an adhesive, but Carrie, you're going to get my vote. That was a good one.
I'm just being honest, Eric. Being honest.
It's a good policy in this game sometimes.
So Nancy says keeping a distance from pessimistic people. How about keeping a distance from everyone, Nancy? Pessimistic, optimistic, contagious, not contagious, everyone. So if you're just popping in, you're wondering what we're doing. We're playing some loaded questions with the game's creator, Eric Poses. And I feel like, to be fair, I have to move Michelle over here, because now, Jill, I feel like you need to go first, because poor Michelle's had to come up with the first answer every time. It seems very unfair.
We have time for one last question.
One more.
All right.
Let's do it.
If you could have one famous person, one person in the public spotlight, living with you during the coronavirus, who would you choose?
Ooh, this is going to be PG-13 for sure. All right, Jill. You're on the hot seat. Hope you didn't get comfy having all that extra buffer time when Michelle had to come up with answers.
And you did say famous, so that's like, you know.
Can I go with like a somebody from one of my Netflix shows or something?
Yeah, famous.
Ragnar Lothbrok.
Ragnar Lothbrok.
Yes.
Nice. So
Great example.
I'm not going to ask. I'm assuming that you guys would get together and play loaded questions.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, that's the thing. Michelle?
I just want to know what it's like to be a Viking.
It would definitely have to be a comedian, and I'm probably going to butcher his last name, but Sebastian Maniscalco.
So close.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually have a video of Sebastian Maniscalco.
Maniscalco. Got it.
In I think it was May that he and his wife have been passing the time playing loaded questions. That's a true story.
Michelle says Chris Martin because her whole family loves him. Carol, who cares? You're the one that gets to choose. Stop living for everyone else.
Chris Martin.
Christopher Walken. Oh my God. I do love him. Repeat the question, please. The question is, if you could have one famous person living with you during the coronavirus, who would you choose? And I would choose like Nigella Lawson because I want food that's really good. I need somebody that can cook. And yeah, I think I need somebody who can cook because I'm not going to do it. So, and Carol's agreed on Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken. I could have I could have gone so non PG-13 and been quite content with at least 13 people, including Henry Cavill. But my answer, based on sort of refitting from all the good answers, and especially a comedian, that's a really good one. I think I'd go with John Bailey, epic voice guy.
Oh my God, he is so funny.
I would want him to walk around narrating. Do you ever pick up anything?
So Henry Cavill, you can't have him in because he'd be offended that his face is on your toilet paper.
Wait, why is my face?
Wait, what the hell, Chris? But so epic voice guy would actually, John Bailey would be like having many people living with you because he does Ryan Reynolds. It's like indistinguishable. Also, he can do like Donald Trump. He can do anybody, but Optimus Prime from the Transformers. So that's a solid choice in my opinion.
I did not know the dad joker would be here today.
Yes, he made me so happy. All right, your choice, Eric, your selection.
I had a comedian in mind also. My answer would have been Dave Chappelle, who I can just sit and listen to for hours and hours.
Yes.
But Sebastian, Michelle's answer gets my vote. I could watch him and listen to him for hours also. The animation and his tone of voice. And good one.
Nancy Ramsey says Robin Williams because he was such a funny guy.
I just watched him on the Gordon Ramsay show, a reclip of one of the older episodes with him, and he's just endless energy.
Yeah, I adore him, but I feel like I would get exhausted. Like maybe I would want him on weekends and somebody else like on working days so I could focus. I don't know.
So Eric Poses is creator of Loaded Questions and several other games, Awkward Family Photos, and I forget, there's like 85 other games. Eric, thank you so much for joining us. If you could stick around, we'll come back for a little bit of a panel at the very end.
Great.
Yeah, we would love to have you stay.
Thanks.
Now, we're going to do this. Ladies, you're going backstage as well because we have to dive into a little bit of sponsor love because that's what you do. People give you a bag of money, you got to give them a bag of love. Thank you so much for being part of this show. If you've never been here before, I think this is Andre's first time. He's like,
if you've never been here before, you're very confused.
Yeah. So look, we're sponsored by StreamYard. StreamYard is how you can make a good show like this, only a better show. See brogan.me/StreamYard. Make a show. It is so easy to do. And by the way, you can use this for all kinds of crazy things like webinars and things like that. And if you think for a minute that your people are so excited to be on yet another Zoom call, they're not. They don't like you anymore, and they're saying bad things about you. Go to cbrogan.me/StreamYard and get your own damn show. We are also sponsored by an incredibly expensive website that you can use if you're an author.
It's not expensive. You stop it.
Unbelievable. You have to pay up front $8,000 to use it. You go to pub-site.com and they will set you up, or you set up your own really cool looking author website. It costs like $8,000 just to put the fun.
$19.99 a month. And there's a 14-day free trial, and it's really easy. If you have a book in you want to write that book, but you don't want to build a website to promote the book, pub-site.com. They even have people who will build the website for you if you can't even with that.
If you're a lazy bitch, you can just pay them and they'll just make this. Oh,
stop it.
You can find that other card if you want. I knew it. Pub-site.com. So you can go there, or you can use cbrogan.me/StreamYard and make a website. Do both. Do both. Why wouldn't you do both?
Goodness gracious. So the Backpack Show, we like to bring you insights from unusual places that will help you succeed over the next 5 years, personally and professionally. Today, we are having some fun. We're doing all fun and games today. So we started with some loaded questions with the game's creator, Eric Poses. You can go and check out all the things loaded questions related at loadedquestions.com. He does have like many other games. But now we're going to talk with Jill Callinan and Michelle Broadbent about Lego Serious Play and how it can improve all of your training situations. We have some comments. Let's see. Oh, John Harrison's surprised you got a yellow card. I can't think why that would surprise you.
I don't know. That's weird.
Do both. Do both. Greg says, if I make the site, can they write the book?
That's a whole other guy.
I will tell you, though, that the people who created pub-site.com also are the premier PR firm for books. So if you can write the book, they'll do like about everything else.
They will get it to the right places. By the way, Melody McKinney is my cousin. I still have a lingering scar, partially thanks to her. And the dog named
probably
Jasper.
Deserved it. I don't know.
Listen, if you haven't figured out, hi, Kate Cogan. If you haven't figured out why serious playing games is an important part of your business, you got to think about bringing things like loaded questions to your next boring, crappy Zoom call. Think about asking Eric's questions into that call. You're going to have so much more fun.
We've done, there are companies now doing like happy hours, they call them. And they would all benefit from some loaded questions, I promise you. Because what it is right now is like 12 people staring at each other. And one of them feels like they've got to run this cocktail party and be like, ooh, what's everybody drinking?
And by the way, you know who are not good hosts? Bosses are not good hosts. They're bosses.
Boss is a wonderful host. I don't know what you're talking about.
So we're going to drag on two extra smart people who do extra good things, Jill Callinan and Michelle Broadbent. One of these people actually survived college with Carrie.
Let's not tell anybody which one that is. We'll let them guess.
So my first question before we talk about this Lego Serious Play thing is, what kind of human are you that says, this is what I think I'll do for a gig? Like, you know, were you like, it was either this or run an IT department? Like, what got you there?
None of them's going to fess
no
up.
One's talking.
No.
I'll fess up. I mean, and I think this is kind of part of our story, which is we started in IT. I've been a project manager for my entire career, which means I've probably facilitated over 1,000 meetings where, you know, some of them have been successful because we have a quick objective, we meet, we hit the objective, we move on. Some of them we spend days where we're whiteboarding and making notes and presenting, and we're putting everything together and we're getting everyone to buy in and sign off. And then you walk out of the room and it's gone. Nothing. It's like it never even happened. Or how many times do you have a meeting, or I know that I'm facilitating and I'm trying to get status from everybody and 3 people are on the computer, all of them telling me they're taking notes, but in the window reflection, I see last night's episode of, you know, whatever's on. So they're not effective meetings. I mean, obviously there are meetings that are effective, but we've all probably been impacted by those big meetings where we're all brainstorming and, you know,
those waste of time meetings.
A waste of time. And there's got to be a better way. Again, there's got to be a better way. And that's when we got introduced to the concept of the Lego Serious Play, we jumped on it because it is a much better, cooler, funner way to get people engaged in a safe environment.
So Michelle, what happened? Did Jill just drag you into this, or?
No. So Jill and I at work, they used to do a Lego kind of city simulation for Agile, but there's always something a little missing. And we both went to a corporate event where they were like, you know, build this duck. And then we did, and that was it. We were like, what is going on? So I looked into it and I was like, there's really kind of a theory around this actuality. So, you know, I said to Jill, we can get certified in it. And she like dived totally in, researched it, like where you can go, who you can get it from. And she's like, we're going to do this. So we were like, yes. And we knew there was a better way to even improve on that and why. And I'm all about like whole person learning, like the, you know, the experiential and not just like someone talking to me, blah, 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 the whole time and throwing slides up, slide after slide, you know, death by PowerPoint. So this is why Jill and I were like, we're going to do this. We jumped right in.
One of the questions I have about it all, so I love toys, I love play. One of the college courses I took at one of the colleges I went to, I think it was at Lesley, it was Psychological and Cultural Foundations of Play. So like I'm down. I've read like a bunch of the books on it and how important it is and how people really misvalue play, especially at a certain age. I guess I have two questions. The first easy one is, did you play before this? Like, was there anything in your life that you could actually put in the category of play? And then second is, what do salespeople do when you show up at a sales meeting with this stuff? Or have you been forced with that?
Michelle, do you want to take that?
Sure. So I think as adults, we forget to play unless you have like a child and you're, kind of forced to. Not forced, but you get down and you do it. But as an adult and you get into the adult world, you're not really doing anything that's really play. So that changes your mind to think differently. So that's why I like to bring this and bring fun. And what we just did with Eric was great too. Love that. And the second is like bringing the salespeople. You're always going to get those people who are like, what? Why are you bringing me here? This is a waste of time. I'm going to play with Legos. Seriously, right. We're playing. But when they get into it, it's just so funny to see like that they're like, you bring them in, baby steps, get their feet wet. And they're in there and they're, salespeople, they're competitive.
Is this what you bring? Like you bring them a
bigger, a little bit bigger set. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Sorry.
You sent me the mini one?
Because that's all you
because we only have so much time.
Yeah, exactly. We'd be here for a couple hours.
I have most of it still.
So while we're getting ready to set up to do whatever you're going to make us do, invite us to do they force you at Lego school to like, you have to know that this is called a something? And do they like make you not call Legos plural or anything like that?
No, they do. The biggest thing is that they do ask that you call it Lego and you use the trademark symbol after it.
What if you have more than one? What are you supposed to call it?
Lego, like moose. You don't have mooses. Lego.
You can say bricks.
Can I?
Oh, now we have the new thing. All right.
And you can call them like a 2x2 brick or a 2x3 or a 2x4.
Yep.
And one of the things Michelle would normally explain is each one of those little bumps is called a stud.
Yes, it is.
So I have many studs.
So I have Henry Cavill.
But wait, so Carol loves Michelle's accent.
She gets New York and New Jersey.
I love it. No.
All four of us in this screen right now are mass holes.
Yeah.
But Carol's Canadian, so she could be forgiven. Do you let folks know there's going to be playtime ahead of time? Oh, that's a good question. Because would they like skip that meeting if they thought you were just going to mess around with Legos?
So
what do they do?
I would say that, if they're going to be bringing Lego serious play in, it's going to be a serious meeting and all hands are on deck. It's not a skip meeting.
So you can use it for anything, like any topic.
So we do a lot with agile and agile training. So a lot with that leadership, product ownership. So like road mapping, trying to identify what, that release plan looks like for a product, education, storytelling for kids. So there's all different ways that we can incorporate it all the way, like I said, from education to training and facilitation in any corporate setting. We can
I normally don't ignore guests and look down, but now I have all these things.
Yeah, I'm playing with all these things.
Well, then maybe we should get started.
Yeah,
all right, what do
ready?
we do?
All right, Michelle.
All right. So what I want you to both do is take 2 bricks. Just find any 2. Doesn't matter which one.
Okay.
With those bumps. And now you know that they're called studs. And just click those studs together.
Got it.
Okay.
So let's see. Just want to hold them up. All right. Congratulations. Yeah. You guys just did your first build. You're like master builders.
I'm more excited than when I got my MBA.
All right. So next, what I want you to do is I want you to imagine a body of water, your favorite body of water. Okay. And then we're going to give you 3 minutes to build that body of water.
Uh-oh. Huh. Okay.
All right.
All right.
So
try.
Jill's going to time you.
Okay,
and
good.
Here we go.
So build a body of water. Do I have to keep my first build together?
You can take it apart.
I need it because you sent me
question.
like the weenie box of Legos, so I need to like repurpose it. Let me see.
Serious play.
I know.
All right,
I'm looking
this is
serious.
set. Officially go. 3 minutes.
I know, but as I've told my kids many times, I really suck at Legos, and like I wasn't kidding. So
just let those fingers do the thinking for you.
Favorite body of water. Okay.
Christina Hendricks.
This is what that's not a body of water.
He has a body and it's made out of 90% water.
Oh, for God's sake.
This is
but
serious.
all your blocks are blue. You don't have enough red to make Christina Hendricks. So try
you
something
are
else.
absolutely son of a gun.
Just saying. I'm looking out for you. All right.
I'm swimming in the Caribbean.
It's not going well. If you're just joining us, we're trying to build a body of water out of Legos.
Anyone showing up to this is like, what the crap are they doing?
Illustrate
prayer session.
The principles of Lego serious play and how it can enhance your training and change your meetings forever. And as I've discovered, I suck at Legos, which, like I said, about 100 times when my kids were growing up. They're like, can we play Legos? I'm like, no.
I feel like there's a massive amount of psychology that can be gleaned from what you say and do while you're doing this.
That's probably the point.
That is what I'm thinking. Like,
yeah.
You know, so what is the likelihood that when we put the first two bricks together, I bet the high number of people who do it put the biggest bricks together first.
Yeah, probably. See, this isn't, now I'm making like a body of water building.
And to clarify, while you guys are building, when Michelle and I went through this training, it was specifically designed to be able to deliver it virtually because of COVID.
No way.
We're getting some encouragement from our community. Click those studs together.
Yeah, tell us go, go, go or something. Liz Strauss would love this. Yes, rest in peace, Liz Strauss.
Toying. So John Harrison's been toying with the idea of including this type of activity in your training. Well, this is fun. You should do it. I'm bad at it, and I still think it's fun. So
I also wonder what you get when you hear someone say they're bad at something 4 times.
I broke my thing. You wonder what you get?
Okay, you are bad at it. Never mind. I take it back.
Like I said. See, when most people say it, they're like fishing for praise. I am not. I am trying to prepare you for what's going to happen.
There's no mistakes, only opportunities, Carrie.
Are you having fun?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I am. It's definitely more fun than like your average meeting to talk about status of projects and whatever.
If I
so
had
most
not,
people,
brought the
25 seconds left.
I can't. It's so bad.
I cannot believe 3 minutes has transpired.
Just put your finishing touches.
Oh. You really do facilitate this.
Yep. Nope. So good at this.
I'm not faking. Okay.
So after all this, and Chris will be like, "Oh, why'd you say you were bad a bunch of times?" Because I was bad at it. That's why.
Yeah, I'm gonna just go with your gut on
just
that.
wait.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
All right. Hands off the way.
That was a horrible and very upsetting.
What is this, chopped? I should have cut myself a minute and a half in, then it would totally be chopped.
So we have to show you now.
Not yet. You don't have to show yet. So when you were building that body of water, what were some of the things that are going through your mind?
Oh, Carol wanted to see our progress. I'll show you my progress, Carol. It's a pile of junk.
We'll be showing. We'll be showing them off.
Show in a minute.
Okay.
Well, my answer is that so I first thought my favorite body of water, and I was like, was it that time in Mexico? What's it called? Cozumel, or not Cozumel, the other one. Anyway, I was in the water in Mexico and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. But that's not my favorite body of water. My favorite body of water is I was born and raised in Maine. So we'd go up to lakes a lot. And I was thinking the whole time I have all these blue, and I was like, you need brown and green ones because that would be Maine lakes, Yeah. Lakes look like a bunch of gooey stuff that you don't want to touch with your feet. And I was thinking, this isn't accurate. But it actually influenced my plan.
So you were using your long-term memory skills and symbolic representation.
Oh,
yeah. Fozzie wants to know how long we've been playing together and how long we've been friends. Legos, about 10 minutes.
Cancun, that's right. Thanks, Kip. I was blanking on the name.
Yeah.
Cancun has like the super touristy part, and then they have the pretend it's not touristy part. I was on the pretend it's not touristy part.
Okay.
How long have we known each other? I don't know. A long time, right? Like 2009 or something like that.
Something like that, maybe. Yeah, I think you came and talked to my Full Sail students when I was teaching at university down there.
That sounds about right.
Yep, 2010 maybe.
So, and we have been like in and out of each other's projects like almost every year since, for marketing profs, Full Sail, everything.
No, I'm all the way in. And Kate's trying to give me advice like, you shine at building Legos, repeat. So if I cared at all about my level of skill at Lego building, you're correct. I would do something about it. But I think I'm okay.
That part was just Carrie using her great executive functioning skills. So.
Well, it's also like if people showed up and we're just silently building Legos, I felt like
we're just thinking, oh crap, this is
because they get rips. All right.
So next part of the fun is I want you to think of 3 adjectives to describe your body of water.
Oh.
And then you're going to hold up your model and tell a story about it.
Okay.
So 3 adjectives.
Okay.
Do I say them first or do I say them in my story?
In your story.
Okay. I got mine. You want to do yours first, Carrie?
Okay. And you want me to show it after the story or during? During. Okay. So when I was a teenager, one of my hobbies was collecting these real estate brochures they had at the grocery store in the rack by the door. And I would look at all these houses thinking how much I would like to have some of them. And so one of them had had a swimming pool that was like a multi-story swimming pool and stuff. And outside sort of spread out more. I don't know how much you can tell. This is not like an accurate representation since I was 16. I sort of forget. But I remember it was kind of sprawling and multi-story. And it just seemed like it'd be really cool. You could swim inside. You could swim outside. I was not thinking about insurance and stuff at the time. But it was unconventional. It was sophisticated. And it looked playful at the same time. It made the house look playful. I don't know. I liked it.
I like that.
Chris? Yeah, that's great.
Here's mine. And so what I did was I went for kind of a sense of organic, because one of the things I think of in water, I have a little bit of thalassophobia. And so when I think about thalassophobia is fear of deep water, fear of the water in general. Okay. So fear of drowning, fear of sharks, fear of everything is tied to thalassophobia. Thalassophobia. So I thought organic. So I used the different colors also because I thought that with different filters, you could actually see the stuff under the water. So I talk about lakes being green and brown, but if you put the right kind of goggles on and go under, you could really get the colors. So I said organic, multicolored. And then the third was layers and depth, because one of the fun things also about swimming in water, especially places like lakes, is you think you're at a certain level and it's just like a steady plane down, but there's always that drop off. There's always that part where you're like, oh crap. And that's what you do. So that's what you get.
It's like your mom warned you about. When you get too far out.
The time.
So Kip says playing with Legos together is the analog for making it in this pandemic world. We can do more when we Lego together.
Mm-hmm. Awesome, Kip.
Yeah, people like my swimming pool, my fancy swimming pool.
Yeah, I want an outdoor swimming pool.
But now I'm like an actual adult, and so I'm like, how much cleaning that would take.
So if I could recap, we had a lake for Chris, and he's talking about it being organic, and what was it, multicolored and depth. And you mentioned something about gooey stuff that you didn't want to get in your toes.
Yes.
And for Terry, you talked about sprawling, cool, unconventional. Oh no, you said unconventional, satisfied, and playful, along with sprawling and cool, inside and out. Those are a couple words I heard. So Michelle's going to give you a little bit of feedback on profile.
So, some psychologists say that water reflects our sexuality and our deepest urges in senses and psyche. So what you just described is your view of sex.
Or how you are in the sack.
Unconventional.
Playful.
Organic.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think this is serious play.
Wait, do you still want to swim in my pool?
You know what I wonder is why they put the antenna.
What, Chris?
And it was funny how. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say my antenna. I used it to kind of represent. Do you ever like go swimming in a lake and there's always that one like weird ass piece of metal or wood that you're like trying to pull out of it? It's always that.
Kate says, "Wow, I didn't miss the sex show. Thanks, Chris." She's like, because we had a sexologist on, an actual PhD in human sexuality on earlier this week. So, and Kip is like, "Togu, ew."
By the way, I never want to see Dr. Sonny Rogers doing serious play.
Oh my God. Are you kidding? That would be a remarkable experience.
I also like Coach Woodard's last comment, and Carrie wondered about insurance.
I did. Well, for you.
That tells you about, the sexuality as well. Are you covered? Well,
certain kind of injuries can't be fixed easily.
Can you
walking clinic ain't gonna do it?
So can you give a Twitter version of summing up what we just witnessed in that experience?
You will. There's one last thing I wanted to ask both of you, and Jill will unpack it for you.
Okay.
So what's the key thing that you learned about yourself when you went through this process today?
I learned to let go. I was thinking of Anna and Ilsa. Let it go, just do the stupid thing they want. That's what I was thinking.
And you did good, Chris.
Great.
I learned that you're revealing things about yourself even when you think you're not. So you think you're doing something innocuous that won't give anybody insight into the way your mind works, but everything gives people insight into the way your mind works. You just don't realize it.
Yep. You're pulling from your subconscious mind. Yeah. That's awesome. So
I'll tell you what, though, I wouldn't have said I was bad at it.
Yeah, right.
If I knew where you were going.
So one of the things, that obviously using 3D models, and that's what we call these little Lego creations that you guys put together to generate innovation and ideas and innovative discussions is not new. But bringing it to the workplace on a consistent basis is something that we're trying to, teach people and the simplicity of it. So think about how many times you've been in a meeting where it's like, okay, we have this giant complex problem. What are we going to do? And everybody waits for the senior tech guy in the room to come up with a solution because he's always right. So he comes up with a solution, and instead of listening to what everybody thinks and trying to really get a collective understanding, the default is, yep, that's a good idea. Oh, let's add on to that. And people start to feel like, either they've added on to the point or their voice was never heard because they're not in a safe zone where they can do that. So part of what the serious play does is it's a carefully planned out methodology, if you will, that, takes in mind the scope of what we're doing and, really focuses on the objectives, and it gets people to kind of use the creative side of their brains and kind of give us the explanations and stories and tell those stories and give us those pieces, like you said, Carrie, that we may not have pulled out otherwise. Missed opportunities, right? So I could
lots coming in, Jill. Lots of thoughts.
Yeah, and when someone, there's always one friggin' big mouth in a meeting. And the definition of insanity is, why are we doing this again? The same thing. We keep doing it. It's not working. Well, let's try something different, and let's try to get everybody's ideas, because not everybody in the room is a loudmouth like me, but there are folks in the room who don't say much, but they actually have a lot of insight and a lot of input, and we need to collect that, and we need to change the way people think. We need to change the cultures of how these organizations are, because people need to feel heard. And that's the hugest.
You need them to be heard, Jill, because there's women and people of color, or people who maybe came from another country originally and they have an accent. So for one reason or another, people don't listen to them, and we lose the value of their participation. So I think
that's the super driver of the show. The whole
people call me a philosopher. I'm a Lego philosopher.
Lego philosopher goes along with the series.
We always make sure you have the same material, the same amount of time, same instructions, and you all build something different. You all have a voice, and that's why you tell your story individually.
I have a question about that, though. Does anyone just go straight up? Does anyone just make a vertical, idiot line with their Lego? Like you said, make a lake or something like
idiot
that.
Line.
Okay. But they have a good story. They'll come up with a story for it, right? They can build whatever they want as long as their story ties into what the scope or the objective is of the discussion. So yeah, we encourage people, use humor, right? Build funny things, whatever you want. If you can't build a full on Lamborghini, maybe just do like 2 little doors that go up on the side, right?
That's right.
Little things that kind of get you thinking and can really, just stimulate the conversation. So.
Kip has the question, how do you curate and execute on that?
Like the ideas, I guess, that you generate during a Lego series play meeting.
So in Michelle and I are both agile coaches, so we've learned a lot of different techniques for exactly this. And what happens is, we take, in theory, right, we could take all of these ideas and put them on the board and then have people vote on things that they like or that they think are the most important or that they think are the next set of ideas that we want to work on. But the reality, the win is that we've got ideas from everyone on the team or in the group. Everyone's had a chance to speak. And then we can go into more of the traditional figuring out how we're going to manage it.
Chris, when you build Legos straight up, Kate says there's a medical term for that.
Yes. Michelle, you had something to add?
I was just going to say too that the part where you curate as well is when you build connections, because you also do a second half where there's usually more people and you ask additional questions about if you're team members and you're building that, like what's a trait that you heard Carrie say that you wish you had? What's a trait that Chris said that you wish you had? And you start building connections.
Nice.
Or sometimes we would have you build and Carrie explain. Sorry, Chris.
No.
I'm going to explain anything Chris does.
Carrie. Don't worry about it.
I'd be like, I don't know.
Yeah, I got nothing. All right, listen, we're going to be, speaking of questions, I'm not even going to do another one. I'm going to bring on Eric again because Eric's the king of loaded questions. And I have already made about 6 loaded question jokes. That's enough.
That's 6? That's conservative estimate.
To establish my bona fide. The journey is the destination kind of thing is what Kip says from this. He takes off. So we have to do one quick sponsored thing and just quickly remind people that we are sponsored by StreamYard. Go to cbrogan.me/StreamYard to make your own thing. We are sponsored by pub-site to make author websites. That'll be a cool, fun thing, which means we have a person of the day. And the person of the day comes about by us just sort of deciding that someone seemed like a nice person and we want to, credit them for being participatory and all that.
Part of our community.
And yeah, part of the community that we have the pleasure to serve. And there are so many good people as part of it. And I can't remember at different times or not who we have or haven't made. Like I have this, overlying feeling that I'm going to like double down on someone by mistake. So I know what I'm going to do. He's probably gone because he was like, why is this on LinkedIn? I don't even want to talk to these people. But Andre is going to be our person of the day because he swung in on LinkedIn. And, I feel like anytime someone takes a chance on our show from LinkedIn, they're saying something. So, and Andre, that really what you get for being person of the day is you can go and buy an apple just like that one in that picture if you'd like. Yeah, I'm sure it's delicious. It's harvest time.
And the glory is yours to keep.
So that's that. So that's it. Andre's our man. And yay, Andre, says John. So listen, you're all back on because of one thing is, do you ever explain to people like at bars or something like that? Not that you can go to them anymore, but back in the whale days, did you ever explain to people like, Eric, I really want to ask you this question. When people say on an airplane, what do? Do you just lie and say accountant?
No, that's a good entree for a good conversation. I do say that I'm a board game inventor. No, I'm honest about that one.
That's cool. I like it.
And then you just let it fly.
Does that fall flat ever so often?
Yeah, I can introduce people to the games, and I can be a chatty guy. So that's certainly one thing I'm proud of.
Well, we're all from Boston, so I feel like if somebody said that, I'd be like, I don't believe you. Like that'd be my visceral reaction. Be like, okay, yeah, I'm a jet pilot. It's my day off.
And I have to wonder if Jill and Michelle lead with their agile coaches or do you lead with your Lego coaches? I don't know. Go to the event. What's the answer?
Yeah. Do you call yourself like a Lego serious play trainer or do you call yourself like an agile project management coach or what do you call yourself?
I probably, depending on the audience, would say an agile project manager who specializes in Lego serious play facilitation methods.
But
Wow.
see, Eric's answer comes out faster. It just rolls off the tongue. Board game.
You can't really shorten that. I don't know. I guess I'm a Lego master.
I play with Legos.
Yeah.
I help you play with them too.
Yes.
Help you play with Legos. Oh my golly. That's like, little bus answer, I think. So Leslie says, congratulations, Andre. All right, we're at this part of the show, and it's the reason the show is called the Backpack Show is that, the world's a crazy place. And, as we can tell from celebrity toilet paper and beyond, we have to answer one very simple question, which is in a world where we're all kind of building on shifting sands and nothing's forever, we have to put stuff in our backpack to carry it. We can't carry everything with us. We can only fit just a little bit of stuff. So if this backpack is full of figurative things like hope and empathy and pride and gumption, or physical things like an avocado, the question comes to Michelle first. What goes in your backpack for the next 5 years to be a little more successful?
That's a good question.
It's a loaded question.
I know. To me, I have to always go through life with pen and paper, because it's just, you never know when you're going to have a thought and you want to write it down, or you just want to draw something, an idea. So
I like it. I'll take pen and paper.
Yep.
Jill, go.
Legos.
Okay.
Of course. She's so
Seriously.
on brand.
One of the things that we learned in our training is that, we encourage people to have like a couple of Legos on your desk. So if you're, getting stuck in analysis paralysis and just can't figure it out, start thinking with your fingers. 70% of your brain, right? 70% of that long-term memory all comes through your fingertips. So think about driving. You don't have to think about it. It's automatic, right? There's just things that you do with your hands that are automatic. Get those Legos out and start using them. You don't have to have 4,000. Grab like a little half a cup of them and keep them in a box. Keep them in a box just like that.
Or in the bottom of your purse, because that's fun.
You got it.
Shifting around for like a Mento or a Lego.
The bottom of your backpack.
Eric poses game inventor. What's the story?
I thought about this question a lot before the show, and it's a good loaded question. Like Michelle, I need my pen and paper in my backpack because I'm always writing down ideas. And I thought of 3 other things that I could use. And a Frisbee, a deck of playing cards, and some Baileys and coffee. That would kind of complete my backpack. A lot of my day is spent just thinking in abstract terms, game ideas, how to market my games. Those things combined would help me get through the day.
Usually you're allowed only one, but I feel like you could fit a deck of cards like inside.
I feel like all of that fits in.
Yeah.
I pictured a big backpack.
So John says kinesthetic learning is important. I absolutely agree. And Kip wants to know if we're keeping track of everybody's backpack items in their source. We have clips. We'll have to do like a
few clips, but
compilation someday.
I'm leaning towards no. That sounds like work. So.
Not if you do Legos with it.
Yes, it could be serious play. All right. Well, I was thinking about, by the way, I liked the one thing I liked about Eric's, I liked everyone's answer, but the one thing I liked about Eric's answer was all 3 were social tools as well. Frisbee is no fun when you're by yourself. So you have to have someone. So you got to bring a person into this game. Baileys and coffee is so much better when you share it with people. And a deck of cards, you can only play so much solitaire. There's a few good variants, but that's all you really get. So last couple questions, John points out my son leaves Lego on the carpet. I was wondering if anyone was going to share about, foot tactile Lego inspiring. Kate says, my wife Marty's listening. She just told me she's always been intrigued with Legos, but never played with them. Kate, go get them. And I'm not sharing any Google Sheets. By the way, look who's also on YouTube watching us. We've got, we know who that is. That's Debbie. So,
From Women's Leadership Live.
Women's Leadership Live. It's a place to be. I don't have a theme song for them yet, but I do have a theme song for my grandmother. Another thing I forgot to tell our guests is that my grandmother is famous on this show.